How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So glad to be here. I'm excited about this show. This is going to be a special championship edition for the Carver Tigers. We are celebrating in the city of Columbus as the Carver Tigers win their first state championship since 2007. A lot to get into in the show. Going to recap high school basketball from last night. Also going to recap the Columbus Flag Football Championship that happened on Monday. And the Atlanta Falcons are making a quarterback change. This is all going to happen on the Sports Beat. I'm not going to go the full hour. We're going to have a condensed show because we've got the Pacelli swim coach that's coming up on the Pacelli Coaches Show. Later tonight, I'm going to be on the campus of Pacelli as the Pacelli Lady Vikings are taking on East Coweta out of Noonan. And we're going to tell you what's going on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Just so much exciting sporting events, including the Muskogee County Christmas Showcase that is this weekend. And we also have the CVCC Coaches Show and a special Georgia Alabama Sports Live show to include Keeping Up with CSU Athletics, as we are going to interview Coach Robert Moore and Coach Matt Hauser of the Columbus State Cougars and Lady Cougars. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the show. The Carver Tigers are your 2024 2A state champions. We were there down on the field at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. High school game day was live outside the Benz. Thrip Behringer and Rick Beach did a fantastic job. I joined them later. Right at kickoff, I got to the Benz and got to be on the field. And Georgia Alabama Sports Live was there along with Sports Visions. DJ Jones was there. We had WRBL's Jack Patterson, WTVM's Tony Reese, a huge event. And GPB sports anchor John Nelson interviewed Jack Patterson on the GPB broadcast. I recorded it and I watched it later because it was just a fantastic broadcast by GPB Sports. The Carver fans were electric. They made the trip up to the Benz and they were so supportive and they cheered hard for their Carver Tigers. And it was a great event from the start. And Carver wasted no time. Braylon Jakes takes the kickoff return back in great field position. And then Carver punches it in, and it's 7-0 already. They get a 3-and-out, and Burke County has to punt the football. However, there was a muffed punt. Burke County was able to convert 2 fourth-down conversions. They tie the game at 7 apiece. And I'm thinking, okay, we got ourselves a ball game here. And Carver moved the football all the way down into the red zone. There was a touchdown that was negated because there was an ineligible man downfield. And so Carver was held to 3 points. Now it's 10-7, Burke County with the football, and Zay Billingsley with the defensive play of the game. He gets a pick six, and we look up. I mean, the Carver fans are cheering. They are excited. Zay Billingsley in the end zone is now 17-7, and now that Carver's got a lead, their defense playing physical was able to do what they want to do and limit the ground game for Burke County. And Matthew Mungin was the player of the game with 4 touchdown passes. Carver led 31-7 at the half. And Burke County did get another touchdown. It was off a turnover, and it was 31-14. Well, Carver just put the foot on the gas pedal, and they wasted no time scoring some more touchdowns. And KJ Miles with 3 touchdown receptions, Braylon Jakes with a touchdown reception, Kelston Tarver with a touchdown run, and the Carver Tigers win the state championship 52-14. Remember, they went to the state championship as a 4A school back in 2021 when they lost to Benedictine. And congratulations to Coach Pierre Coffey, his 3rd year with the Carver Tigers. He was an assistant under Coach Del McGee. He was an assistant under Coach Joe Kegler, but he finally wins a state championship, and well-deserved. That dark side defense led by defensive coordinator Justin Newman was lights out like they've been all season long. And we got to be on the field to witness it. Georgia Alabama Sports Live went live after the game was over for the trophy presentation and some pictures, interview with Coach Coffey. interview with Coach Nell Newman. And then we also had a post-game wrap-up show with myself, Rip Behringer, and Rick Beach. And it was just a great time to be a Carver Tiger fan. And not just a Carver Tiger fan. For the city of Columbus, if you're a football fan, it was just a time to be a great football fan of Columbus football, because Carver has been the standard for a little over a decade now. I mean, you look at the players that have been gone on to play at the next level, and Carver has just been putting guys in the NFL like Isaiah Crowell, Jarvis Jones, Nate Odoms, of course, DJ Jones, Brenton Buckner. So many great Carver Tigers from the past, and now everybody can celebrate because Carver has a state championship. I congratulate a lot of the players and some of their parents and some of the coaches. Antoine Young, who's a coach on the Carver staff, who's also the offensive coordinator for the Columbus Lions, talked to him after the game. I finally got to meet John Nelson face-to-face, shook his hand, the GPB sports anchor, who's I've had on my podcast a couple of times, and he was just a great host as far as presenting the trophies. And it was really a fun day of high school football at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And it started with the Division II flag football championship at 11 o'clock in the morning. And then you had the Class 1A Division I championship where Toombs County ended up defeating Northeast. And then Milton followed up with their back-to-back championship as they defeated Langston Hughes. So great day. I do want to get into what happened Monday because, Monday was also championship day at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and the Columbus Blue Devils, they started it off on Monday, but it was a very tough game. Heartbreaking loss to Southeast Bulloch, 13-6 in overtime. Remember, Southeast Bulloch, 82-1. They have won 3 straight state championships coming into this game. And they had a very close game against Harris County in the quarterfinals when they defeated Harris County 7-0. And I'm telling you, I seriously thought Columbus was going to pull this off because, Serenity Hickman threw a touchdown pass to Harmony Franklin with 6:44 left to go in the game. Remember, there's a running clock. Columbus is up 6-0. But what do championship teams do? When it matters the most, they come up with the plays. Even though Columbus's defense was stopping Southeast Bulloch all day, Tess Willis had a couple of sacks. I mean, she was huge. Columbus had opportunities to make this a 2-score game. They had the ball. They threw an interception at the end of the first half. They got the ball to start the second half, but Southeast Bulloch had a huge play on a third down. The ball crossed midfield, a long drive to tie the game. The quarterback had a quarterback keeper. It was 6-6. We go to overtime. Southeast Bulloch has the ball first. Southeast Bulloch not only gets the touchdown, they get the try to go up 13-6. Now all the pressure is on Columbus to try to match with a score of their own to try to send it to a second overtime. But they could not get the job done. Southeast Bulloch gets the stop, and they are state champions. And that is 4 times in a row for Southeast Bulloch. They've been the most successful program at the GHSA level. I think that Pacelli has set the standards at the GIAA level, but Southeast Bulloch is your state champions. And at Columbus, there is nothing to hang your head down on, because just the simple fact that Columbus was in this state championship game at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you really got to give them credit. They played their hearts out. Congratulations to Coach Christian Greer, rather. I keep saying Olson, but congratulations, Serenity Hickman, Allie Lofton. Just such great play. Harmony Franklin, Tess Willis, just all around. They were taking on one of the best teams in the country, and they actually took Southeast Bulloch down to the wire and could have won this game, but Southeast Bulloch made the plays necessary when it mattered. All right, so that closes the book on high school football in our area. It's done. It's over. High school football officially finished. Now, today is the final day of high school football. We'll have the 7A championship. It's Grayson and Carrollton. You'll get to see Juju Lewis on the national spotlight on GPB Sports. You also have Jefferson taking on Calhoun in the 3A championship. And then in the private championship, which already happened, Prince Avenue Christian and Hebron Christian. So just a great day to be a high school football fan. Last night was just incredible, electric atmosphere. I was so blessed that I've got to get media credentials. I want to thank Marvin James, the director of the GHSA, for allowing Georgia Alabama Sports Live to get media credentials. Myself, Thrift Behringer, Rick Beach, down on the sidelines, covering the game, getting little highlights, updating the score on the Facebook page. We had the high school game day, the last high school game day of the season, and we also had a post-game show where we wrapped up the event. All right, let's go ahead and talk some high school basketball, because we did have some high school basketball last night. Hardaway and Columbus, it's the Midtown Showdown basketball edition. Hardaway girls, they're really good, by the way. Even though they're 5-4, their record does not reflect the type of team that the Hardaway girls are. They had their runner-up banner revealed during the game, but they ended up defeating the Columbus Lady Blue Devils 79-24. Columbus had several players out, including a player that was playing in the flag football championship. They've had some injuries, but I think that Coach Adams' team is going to get them competing. It's just that Hardaway is playing on another level. What Coach Kelly Ellison is doing, they're out to win a state championship. They feel that they should have won it last year. They came so close against Baldwin. Now that they are in 2A, and there's some good teams in 2A, like Josie, who's been number one in the latest Kyle Sandy rankings. But it was a good win for the Columbus, or for Hardaway Lady Hawks. Lost my train of thought there, but yeah, I like dubbing this the Midtown Showdown basketball edition. Meanwhile, the Hardaway Hawks, they took on Columbus in the nightcap, and unfortunately, they did lose to the Columbus Blue Devils, 54-37. Congratulations to Coach Terrence Hill. But Hardaway is going to be back. Hardaway, which they had to replace 12 seniors from last year's team. They are led by Sergio Lowe and then Tristan Jackson. Those are the seniors, and Nahaje Purnell. Those are the key leaders on the Hardaway Hawks, and they're going to be taking on, I want to say they're taking on Douglas County in the Muskogee County Christmas Showcase coming up this weekend. Just wanted to confirm that. No, actually, they're taking on Kendrick on Thursday, and Kendrick, how about the Kendrick Cherokees? They are 9-1 as they were able to get the 80-31 victory over Jordan. Kendrick's 9-1. Congratulations to Coach Andre Dye. We've got ourselves a showdown at Kendrick High School tomorrow between Hardaway and Kendrick for the boys. Some other scores, Spencer was up in Atlanta. I actually entertained the idea, hey, after the game, why don't we go live stream Spencer taking on Southwest Atlanta Christian, where Dwight Howard went to high school over there in East Point. And Spencer ended up getting the win, 53-46. Congratulations to the Green Wave. They are 7-2 on the season, and they get ready for the Muskogee County Christmas Showcase, where they're going to take on Calvary Christian on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Spencer Lady Green Wave, they ended up falling to Southwest Atlanta Christian by a score of 65-49. This Saturday, they are going to be hosting, well, not really hosting, but Lee County is going to be facing off against the Spencer Lady Green Wave in the Muskogee County Christmas Showcase. Some of the other scores in high school basketball: Harris County girls, they got the 57-29 victory over Jonesboro, and Harris County is now 5-2 overall. It was the Griffin boys ended up defeating the Northside boys, and that score was 66-30. So Northside ends up losing their first region game this season. And meanwhile, the Northside girls fell to Griffin 48 38-37. Griffin won the state championship at 4A 2 years ago. So we knew that Griffin was going to be a good team. Some of the other games, Russell County ends up getting the win over Chatco, 58-51. We're going to see Chatco in the Border Wars. They are going to take on Glenwood, and I'm looking forward to that. And we also had the Jordan Lady Red Jackets. They defeated Kendrick 49-18. Jordan picks up their first win of the season. All right, so here's what we got going on Thursday. Pacelli boys are going to be in the Heard County tournament where they're going to be taking on Callaway. Glenwood is in a tournament. They're going to be taking on Pigeon Forge. We also talked about the Hardaway Kendrick game. And Shaw's taking on Carver, too. I think that's going to be on Friday. Harris County girls are taking on Creekside. Creekside is undefeated. That's going to be a game I'm really interested to see. And Brookstone on the road taking on George Walton Academy. Calvary is on the road taking on Tatnall. And then we also have Smith Station hosting John Carroll Catholic. And then Russell County is on the road taking on Abbeville Christian. Well, the Muskogee County Christmas Showcase starts off with the Jordan girls taking on Hanley. Hanley out of Roanoke, Alabama. So looking forward to that. And then the next game, we got the Hardaway boys at 6:30. These games are going to be at the Lumpkin Center, and they're also going to be on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Hardaway taking on Douglas County out of Douglasville. And then the 8 o'clock game, the Hardaway girls taking on the Pacelli girls. This is going to be a showdown between two of the top teams in the area and two of the top players, Michaela Johnson and Michaela Hosley. Looking forward to that. All right, 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Things start to kick off with the Northside boys and the Columbus boys. They are going to face off at the Lumpkin Center. The Northside girls are going to be taking on Russell County. At noon, we've got Shaw taking on Campbell out of Smyrna. That's the Shaw girls taking on the Smyrna Lady or the Campbell Lady Spartans out of Smyrna, Georgia. All right, 1:30, we got the Kendrick boys. They are taking on Creekside. And then the Kendrick girls at 3 o'clock taking on the Lady Grangers of LaGrange. At 4:30, we've got the Spencer girls taking on Lee County. 6 o'clock, we've got the Shaw boys taking on Russell County. And then at 7:30, we got the Spencer boys taking on Calvary Christian. It's going to be a jam-packed lineup of the Muskogee County Christmas Showcase. Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we got to talk about the Falcons and their issues. The Monday night game was not a game that I was happy about. And is the Kirk Cousins era over in the ATL? And we also got round one of the college football playoff. I'm excited about the matchups. We got bowl season, college basketball underway. We've got an NBA Cup champion. So much to get into on the second part of the show. It is the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and we'll be back after this.
Introducing Gatorade Water. Alkaline and electrolyte infused for great taste. Gatorade Water, always in motion.
We are back. Welcome back to the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So much to get into. Don't forget that we are going to have the Pacelli swim coach on the Pacelli Coaches Show, Coach Kristen Turner. That is going to happen after this show. And then we're going to go right into Pacelli girls basketball as they are taking on East Coweta out of Noonan. I'm a little familiar with East Coweta. I used to have a radio show up in Noonan where I tried to give East Coweta love when I was on that radio station for 3 years. But yeah, big shout out to the Noonan area. It's out of Sharpsburg, but it's really Coweta County, Noonan area. The East Coweta Lady Indians, 5-3 on the season, taking on the 4-1 Pacelli Lady Vikings. All right, we had a Monday Night Football game that I want to talk about because it wasn't a great game. The Falcons won the game. Great for them, but Kirk Cousins almost blew this game. No, I'm serious. They almost let Desmond Ridder beat you because Desmond Ridder had the ball with a chance for the Raiders to win this game. And I got to think to myself that the Atlanta Falcons, I kept saying, and they need to turn the page. They need to just move on from Kirk Cousins. It is not working out. 1 touchdown, 9 picks in his last 4 games. They did snap a 4-game losing streak. Great. They're 7-7, but the Buccaneers are 8-6, and I just don't see a scenario, even though they have the tiebreaker with the Buccaneers. The Falcons could win out their games. Maybe they could win the division, but it is time to turn the page from Kirk Cousins. Just a disaster of a game. And, Desmond Ridder didn't play all that great either. He had 2 interceptions. He threw the ball 39 times. The Raiders couldn't run the football. But Desmond Ridder, down 15-9, had a chance to win this game. Unbelievable. Falcons were up 15-3. They found a way to let the Raiders come back into this game. And I'll be honest with you, when the Falcons, Younghoe Koo missed that field goal, and it was 15-3, and then Desmond Ridder came down and scored that touchdown, I knew the Falcons were going to Falcon like they always do. Conservative, putting the football, giving it back to the Raiders with less than 2 minutes to go. And Desmond Ridder got to the 35. And luckily, he was trying to make a play. Jesse Bates with the interception. Falcons do win this game, but you're taking on the worst team in football. Antonio Pierce is going to be fired. The Raiders are just a disaster of a football team, and the Atlanta Falcons do sneak away with a win. Good for them, but now they are going to Michael Phenix Jr. The Michael Phenix Jr. era in Atlanta has officially begun. I think that Kirk Cousins' days as an Atlanta Falcon is over. And now Michael Phenix Jr. will get the start at the Benz on Sunday against the New York Giants. The other game on Monday Night Football, we had the Minnesota Vikings end up defeating the Chicago Bears 30-12. The Vikings are 12-2, and they could possibly be a 5 seed. They could win all their games, and the Lions could end up having the tiebreaker, and the Vikings will have to play a playoff game on the road. Sam Darnold looks like he is an MVP candidate. I'm just going to come out and say that. The Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, is going to be Coach of the Year. And I'll tell you what, there are so many great matchups in the NFL this week. We got the Broncos taking on the Chargers. Ooh, this is going to be a very interesting matchup on Thursday night. The Saturday games, the Houston Texans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Will Patrick Mahomes play? He's got a high ankle sprain. I would rest Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chiefs are going to get home field advantage. And really, you need a healthy Patrick Mahomes to get in the playoffs anyway. The Chiefs won 2 playoff games on the road last year anyway. So why not rest him? Chiefs are only a 3-point favorite because the bettors know that Patrick Mahomes is not playing in this game. And then 4 days later, they got to turn around and face the Steelers on the road on Christmas. That's the Netflix game. Steelers, same thing, taking on the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday. So we got a very interesting Saturday lineup of football. They're trying to compete with the college football playoff. But I think that the college football playoff is going to win out here. Friday night, the Battle of Indiana. I cannot wait for this game. Indiana, Notre Dame. I give the slight edge to Notre Dame, but I think that Indiana could surprise some people. Winner plays Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Saturday, this is where that's all they have is college football playoff games, unless you count the FCS semifinals and then the Division II championship. How about Valdosta State, though, taking on Ferris State in the NCAA Division II championship? All right, so 12 o'clock, TNT, HBO Max, SMU, Penn State. Penn State's an 8.5-point favorite. 3:30, 4 o'clock, we've got Clemson and Texas. And then the 8 o'clock game, Tennessee and Ohio State. I cannot wait for these matchups in the college football playoff. I already made my selections. I do think that it's going to be Georgia and Texas in the national championship. I think that Texas finds a way to get through that rigorous, having to play either Ohio State, Oregon, or Tennessee. I think that Ohio State beats Tennessee. beats Oregon, and Ohio State ends up facing Texas in the semifinals. I think that Texas has got a pretty easy path. I think they beat Clemson, they beat Arizona State in the Peach Bowl, and they beat Ohio State in the semifinals to get to the national championship in Atlanta. I think that Georgia ends up beating Notre Dame, even without Carson Beck. I think that Gunnar Stockton is going to be good enough to win you games. I think that Georgia beats Notre Dame. I think that Penn State beats SMU, and they beat Boise State. So in the semifinals, it's going to be Penn State and Georgia. I just think that Georgia's got a pretty easy path in the national championship. I see them beating Penn State, even if Carson Beck doesn't play. Now, the national championship game, I think it's going to be a different story. I think that Texas has the defense to – they got film on Gunnar Stockton. I think that Texas can find a way to shut down Gunnar Stockton. I think Texas wins the national championship, even if it's Gunnar Stockton or Carson Beck. But I think it's Texas and Georgia in the national championship. Hey, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks. They win the NBA Cup, but, they won a ring. They won the championship in 2021, 97-81 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that they're going to have 85 games in the standings when it's all said and done. I'm thinking that the NBA Cup games that are the extra games are going to count in the standings. Bucks are 14-11 overall. Right now, they would be the 5 seed. The Hawks would be the number 7 seed. They're taking on the Spurs tonight. And then also one more thing before I get out of here. I'm going to have a condensed show because we got to get ready for Coach Turner and the Pacelli Coaches Show. We got college basketball. The SEC is the best conference in college basketball by far. Florida, undefeated. It's not even close. Well, that's all the time we have on the show today. Thank you, everybody, for watching another exciting edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. We will see actually, we won't see you next week because next Wednesday is Christmas. I'm actually going to take the day off. I might do a show on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, rather. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.